Welcome to Hameen Loyal. This is Eric Grissom.
And I'm Dan Johnson. Eric and I will be rewatching the iconic Twin Peaks from the pilot through the return and everything in between.
If this is your first time watching, or if you're a longtime fan, you can watch along with us as we dive deep into the strange and wonderful world of Twin Peaks.
We live inside a dream.
Today on Meanwhile, we are going to be tackling probably my favorite movie, if you had to ask me. My favorite movies change day to day. Certainly my favorite David Lynch movies change day to day, but Fire Walk with Me has probably lived at the top of the list and is currently at the top of the list longer than any others. All that to say, we talked for a long time about this. Dan and I clocked in 3.5 hours easy covering this film. And so what we're going to do is split it into two parts in the same way that the script is kind of structured into two parts. Part one, we're going to talk about the making of Fire Walk with Me and Teresa Banks. Part two will be the last 7 days of Laura Palmer. So enjoy this part this week. Let us know what you think. And then next week, we're back with Laura Palmer. Today on Meanwhile, I am proud to present, extremely overjoyed to present, Fire Walk with Me. We're doing the film Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. Dan, it's my favorite movie.
Like of all movies, not just
Of all time.
favorite David Lynch movie. Favorite movie, period.
Probably my favorite movie.
Okay.
And apologies, because my notes are about 40 pages. Now,
Boy.
I'm old. I can't see very good. I'm putting a larger font size.
It's 96-point font.
So it's
fine.
probably closer to 15 pages, but
That's a lot.
I got a lot to say.
Well, I mean, I told you this, Eric. I watched it just for fun because I hadn't seen it in a long time. Well, actually, first, we said this at the very beginning. Fire Walk with Me was the first piece of Twin Peaks media I ever saw. So that's
which I still find wild.
bananas. I didn't understand any of it. I enjoyed it because it's cool and weird and that was like perfect for my headspace, but didn't understand any of it. So now I went back and watched it again, and then last night I watched it to take notes. 2.5 hour movie, over 4 hours to watch and take notes.
That'll
Folks,
happen.
We are into it here. I've been looking forward to this conversation for so long. Because I know how much you love this movie, and just because I really just want to dig into it. There's so many things. We should just dive right in, right?
Okay.
Is there anything that we need to say? Let's just.
Oh, yeah, a lot to get into before we start.
Okay, great. Here
One
we go.
is you're not alone. Like, I'm old. And when I say I'm old, I'm 51, soon to be 51. You're around my age.
I'm about 50, yeah.
So for people of our generation, yourself not included because you already said you didn't see it, a lot of people saw it on TV. Then they watched the movie, but so many people saw it from Netflix, probably. And before it was on Netflix, the movie.
Yeah.
Right? Unless you knew somebody with the VHS box set. And even then, you couldn't get the pilot. So many people saw it the way you saw it, which I think it would work that way as a film because, you don't know it's Leland until... I feel like the build-up and the reveal of Leland is excellent. So
Yes.
I would be curious to go back in time, talk to old Dan, and ask you like how you thought. Were you surprised? Were you not surprised? Doesn't matter. We're not here to talk about whether you're surprised or not surprised, but it is interesting to approach it via the Fire Walk with Me door.
I think that you could appreciate the movie in and of itself without having seen anything else. You're going to miss a ton of context and a lot of the impact of the scenes. But as a narrative story, I think it holds together really well, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's a better way of saying what I was trying to say, which is it's a standalone masterpiece, and I don't think it matters ultimately if you've seen Twin Peaks or not. This movie, Fire Walk with Me, Dan, it premiered on May 16th, 1992 at the Cannes Film Festival to very mixed reactions. Now, just 2 years prior, Lynch wins the Palme d'Or. And then Fire Walk with Me premieres two years later, and it's met with boos.
What did he win the Palme d'Or for? It was at
Wild at Heart.
Wild at Heart? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's famous. You know, people have talked about it being booed. I have heard like Bob Engles say like he was there, didn't hear people booing, and then there was multiple screenings, so some people were booing or not. I believe David Lynch said it was booed. It was a mixed bag for sure.
Never been a film of mine anyway that everyone likes. So people seem to be violently divided, and it's just the way it is.
And the press, when they were doing like the press conferences, were like almost hostile, criticizing Lynch for like the violence.
This movie contains a lot of sex, a lot of violence, a lot of sexual violence, in fact. So I pose the question to you, are you both ready to take a lot of heat for this film? Do you know you guys are going to take some real interesting interview questions?
We live in an oven.
Yeah.
That's how much heat we're going to take.
Yeah.
One of the reporters
Oh my gosh.
asked if his return to Twin Peaks was a result of, quote unquote, a lack of inspiration. Quentin Tarantino openly criticized the film. He said, David Lynch disappeared so far up his own ass that I have no desire to see another David Lynch movie until I hear something different. Now, he also did follow up and say, because I love David Lynch and he's whatever. And so, whatever. I'm not a huge Quentin Tarantino fan. This did not help.
Mm-hmm.
I still think about this and get mad because I got problems. Roger Ebert called it shockingly bad.
Roger Ebert is one of my favorite film critics of all time. I really enjoy, especially when he does like deep dives into movies. He's done audio commentary on DVDs before. You know the movie Dark City? You ever seen that?
Sure. Yeah.
He did an audio commentary as a film critic.
We got a little
Kiefer Sutherland again.
It's a great
And
movie.
he's fantastic. But he does absolutely miss them sometimes. And I would say, I wonder if he would come back to it and visit it again, if he would have felt differently about it.
He generally disliked Lynch's work. And it wasn't until Mulholland Drive, like he didn't like Blue Velvet, he didn't like Wild at Heart, he didn't like Lost Highway. So that is not it's not odd to hear that he didn't like it.
Okay. I was going to say, if he didn't like Mulholland Drive, then there's just no hope for him with Lynch.
Yeah,
so,
I think that was the turning point for him.
Right.
The New York Times said, its 134 minutes induce a state of simulated brain death. An effect is easily attained in half the time by staring at the blinking lights on a Christmas tree. Now, I don't know whoever wrote that, but I'm sure they were very
that positive
impressed.
or negative? Was that good?
Well, you got to give them props for the blinking lights. They at least got one aspect of the film.
They really hooked onto a theme there. It's great.
At the same time that it premieres in Cannes, it opens in Japan, where it was huge. It had a big following already in Japan.
As we know from, if listeners that are subscribers to our Patreon have seen the Japanese coffee commercials.
Yeah.
And
Connection to this movie. As I will soon tell you.
Fantastic. Yes. Okay, tell me.
In Japan, it was called Twin Peaks: The Last 7 Days of Laura Palmer. And it did
very literal. Very literal.
Well, for a while, that was the script. It was like Teresa Banks in The Last 7 Days of Laura Palmer, and they would often refer to it as The Last 7 Days of Laura Palmer.
Right,
in press junkets and things like that.
Okay.
But yes, and believe me, I've got the whole day-to-day breakdown.
I'm sure you do. Yeah. I know you do. Okay.
So it did pretty good in Japan. Like some of the critics were lukewarm on it a bit, but it made people were going to see it. I think it had people lined up around the block when it opened.
Wow.
It was not the case in the U.S.
And at 2.5 hours, you know why Special Agent Cooper needs a good cup of joe to stay awake. At least it's not on ABC.
Yeah, right. Hate the movie, loved the review.
Thank you.
It opened on August 28th, 1992. Critics didn't like it, and nobody went to it. I can tell you firsthand, I went when it came out in the movie theater. I went with friends of mine, and we all liked it. And unless they were just humoring me, because I was so into it and wanting. But we generally liked it. But there were other people like people outside of your friend circle in high school, but you
Mhm.
sort of know enough to talk to. So there was like another group, and after it was over, I remember going up to them, and they freaking hated it. Like they were
Oh.
like, "This is terrible," and they were from where they were coming from. They were like, there was no Andy, like there was no Lucy, like we didn't get any of these. Like they were just like mad about it. So that was a reaction from a lot of fans, it seemed.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on what you like about Twin Peaks, because this is definitely in a specific vein of Twin Peaks, and it just goes hard in that direction. And we just don't see, I don't know, 75% of the characters that we normally see in the show. So yeah, I can definitely understand being disappointed in it. Still hating the film because of it, I don't know.
Yeah,
but
they
like
did
I can
not like
imagine
it.
being disappointed though.
They weren't in my friend group for a reason.
Yeah,
like,
screw
they were
them.
like,
You know
whatever.
who you are.
It was fine. But for to your point, like if you've read the diary, if you watched the last episode, this doesn't seem like a departure. You know what I mean? So anyway.
No, this is actually getting to the core theme of the entire story narrative
So
from the beginning to end.
You
Yeah.
saw it on DVD or
It must have been,
VHS?
Yeah, I saw it at a friend's house, but yeah.
All right, so the idea can be traced back for making this movie to a producer, Greg Feinberg, who after the show was canceled, and I think I talked about this, I think when we did the Access Guide. They had a 4-book deal, and they were like, oh, we should do that 4th book that got canceled. Let's do season 3 as a book. And then he was like, no, let's do season 3 as a movie. So that sort of implanted the idea of doing this pretty early. So they were already thinking about this when they were doing season 2. David Lynch had a 3-picture deal already in place with a French production company, Ciby. And he first wanted to do Ronnie Rocket. So it was like, the idea was like one of his films that he was going to make was going to be Ronnie Rocket, but he couldn't get over sort of the idea of Laura Palmer.
Why did you decide to make a prequel to Twin Peaks?
Because I sort of fell in love with the idea of seeing Laura Palmer walking and talking. And I love the idea of visiting her in her last days.
And he was still in love with that world and with her. And when they heard that, they jumped at the chance. Yeah, we'll absolutely want to do a Twin Peaks movie. So they did that first. Okay. Frost was involved in the beginning, like at least in the very, very early stages. But the two of them sort of hit a wall creatively. And Lynch really wanted to do Laura Palmer. But Mark Frost was like, he wanted it to take place right after season 2. He felt like this was going backwards, like he wanted to do the future. And I think like there was probably a lot of stress between the two of them because they had done Twin Peaks. On the Air is about to premiere around this time. So I think when you have any kind of creative partnership, you need a break. And so I think that's kind of also was feeding into some of this. So he leaves the project. He stays on as executive producer, and Lynch brings in Bob Engles, who we know, to write the script with him. Production design was by Patricia Norris. She's the production designer from The Pilot. She did Blue Velvet, Wild at Heart, Hotel Room, Lost Highway. She's amazing. Director of photography is Ron Garcia. Mary Sweeney's the editor. I've raved about Mary Sweeney because she did episode 14. She's a longtime editor for Lynch. She also did an episode of On the Air, an episode of Hotel Room, Lost Highway, The Straight Story, of which she also co-writes and produces. She edits Mulholland Drive. At this point, she's in a relationship with David Lynch, and their son, Riley Lynch, is born like a few days after it premieres. So a lot going on.
Yeah.
Like pregnant, editing, making a movie. It's crazy to think of like that sort of all of the stuff happening at once for him and where it goes, the fact that it was received so poorly. There were problems with the casting right away. So when they were making it, Kyle MacLachlan is the star. It's like in the movie. It's Cooper doing all this. Kyle MacLachlan, Sherilyn Fenn, and Laura Flynn Boyle are all like, no, we don't want to do it. And again, because Kyle's a huge part of the movie, like anyone else, you think, I guess the project's canceled.
Right.
Like, I guess we're not doing it. But Lynch stuck with it. And according to Bob Engles, they literally created Chet Desmond, which his name is a combination of Chet Baker
Lately, you've been so forgetful.
And Norma Desmond.
I want the coffin to be white, and I want it specially lined with satin. White or deep pink. Maybe red. Bright, flaming red. Let's make it gay.
And they literally did like a find and replace. Like
Wow.
anywhere where it said like Cooper became Chet. And then they went through and they did the whole script. And then at that point, like when they were done, then Kyle kind of came around. He was like, okay, I'll do it, but I'll do like a diminished role.
Right.
And then they revisited the script again and they create and they sort of have the both of them happening.
Well, that's so interesting. Well, I guess I want to ask more about that when we get to the scenes that are more relevant to that, but that's fascinating. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And I imagine, I don't know, like, I don't read the scripts. Like, I never read the original script or the shooting script. But it feels like a completely different character in the way that he acts, not just a copy and paste. Like, I can't imagine Cooper doing a lot of that stuff. But
absolutely, in a way that actually is a great contrast to Cooper.
Yeah.
Very complimentary in certain ways. Anyway, save it all for the review, but absolutely, I can see that.
But what a gift, like, to get, and it just, again, it shows like how Lynch turns obstacles. One of the stars of the film is not going to be in it, and it turns into an opportunity, and you create this wonderful character. I love the character of Agent Chet Desmond. It's awesome. Laura Flynn Boyle also said no. I said that. I think Wayne's World is going on at the same time, so it could be that, but you get the impression, like I've seen Bob Engles talk, that she was just not, no. The show is like not doing good. The show's gotten canceled.
Right.
So some of these people just don't want to.
They want to move on.
They want to move on. It's whatever. That maybe their manager or whoever is telling them not to do it. So she gets recast with Maura Kelly. Kyle MacLachlan doesn't want to do it because he doesn't want to get typecast.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to do other things. But it's cool that like Kyle does agree to do it and is still such a big part of it.
Well, heck yeah.
And how great he is in it. So who's in it, right? So we got, it's a long list, my friends. It's Cheryl Lee, Ray Wise, Machen Amik, Dana Ashbrook, Phoebe Augustine, David Bowie, Eric DeRay, Miguel Ferreira, Pamela Gidley, Heather Graham, Chris Isaac, Maura Kelly, Peggy Lipton, David Lynch, James Marshall, Jurgen Prachotnov, I'm probably mispronouncing your name, Harry Dean Stanton, Kiefer Sutherland, Lenny Von Dolan, Grace Zabriskie, and Kyle MacLachlan. Now, that's the cast as credited on the opening title sequence, but you got to throw in Catherine Coulson. You got to throw in Frances Bay, Michael J. Anderson, Frank Silva. Literally, I could keep going. I'm not going to go. Dan's eyes have rolled back, and we have a long show ahead.
We got a very long show.
The original version was much, much, much longer, and the deleted scenes became something of a legend until they got released in the missing pieces. So here are the characters that were shot and cut.
Oh boy.
Pete Martell, Josie Packard, Del Mibler, Nadine, Ed, Doc Hayward, Eileen Hayward, Hawk, Andy, Lucy, Sheriff Truman, Dr. Jacoby, Major Briggs, and Betty Briggs.
Amazing.
So all of those characters were in it and just did not make it through the cutting process.
That's fair. They're very minor characters. That's crazy. That's crazy. Let's see. Like, I mean, I know of Missing Pieces. I haven't seen it yet. We're going to be discussing that as well. But just watching the trailer of that and having read part of the shooting script as I was watching the show, just to be able to catch some of the dialogue and whatnot, so much extra. All these characters. It sounds like it's a full extra movie worth of
it's
stuff.
Presented as like a extra movie, like a separate.
It's amazing. I cannot wait for that too. Okay.
All of the edits, though, well, I'll save it, I guess, when we talk about it. This is a perfectly edited movie.
It's a wonderful movie, yeah.
And it centers on Laura. It all makes sense. Of course, it has to be this way, so I love it. After the shooting, though, after they shot this movie, he pulled some of the cast because he's already got them all together, and especially people that he cut. And they go and they do the Georgia Coffee commercials. So that's sort of why we got Hawk, we got Lucy, we got Andy, we got Shelley. Like, it's kind of a nice thing that, it's like, okay, I got good news and bad news. The bad news is your scenes are gone, but the good news is we're hawking this Coca-Cola coffee.
They're going to love you in Japan, is what
Secret Diary of Laura Palmer by Jennifer Lynch was a huge reference thing for Cheryl Lee. She's talked about it a lot. That she referenced it. She was reading the diary to get into the character. And while they were shooting, many people on the set were very concerned for Cheryl.
Wow.
Because she went so deep and so hard, and it's so rough that people were just worried about it. And she would just be like after these takes and just like shaking almost from all the stuff that she had to do.
Oh my gosh. I mean, her performance is outstanding. It is phenomenal throughout all this. And I can't wait to talk about specific moments, but
No, how she didn't get nominated for
it makes no sense.
any award is
Makes
just
no
shows
sense.
how stupid people are and how unfair and how dumb awards are.
Yeah, for sure.
Like if you get this movie, we'll get to it.
Speaking of The Secret Diary, I'm so glad that we're doing the episode by episode and also reviewing these additional materials, these books, in the order in which they were released, contemporaneous with the show, because it just gives me so much more insight into the movie, having just watched all the episodes and having read these books to see how that informs the characters. It's a great way to revisit all of this and kind of get a fuller picture of it. Anyway, great.
Scott Ryan had interviewed Jennifer Lynch on YouTube, which you can find. I'll put the link here if I remember. And she had said that she doesn't believe her dad even read the book.
Amazing.
Now, I am sure I'm not sure, but I would say Bob Engles probably read the book. It just seems, and if Cheryl Lee is reading, like that stuff's coming through her anyway. So it all, and maybe he did read it. Who
Amazing.
knows?
Out of curiosity, if nothing else. But anyway, okay.
All right, so let's turn that TV on, I guess. Unless you have anything to add, I'm ready to jump into a world of blue, Dan.
Ready. Let's do it.
Teresa Banks lived at the Fat Trout trailer park for a month. We'll check that. Yeah. Worked as a waitress at Hap's Diner. Worked the night shift. Good place for dinner when we're through here, Sam. No one came to claim the body. No known next of kin.
Eric, we start the credits playing over a staticky TV screen. Eventually it pulls out and we hear in the background a woman screaming as the TV gets smashed. It's a hell of a way to start a movie.
Dude.
Tell me what you think from the very beginning.
It's a fantastic opening, as you said, pulling back from that TV screen. First off, the color blue takes such a prominent role in this film. Like, we open on blue, we're going to close on blue from the jump. It's a blue rose case, questions in a world of blue. And it's such a contrast to the TV show. Like, the TV show is this warm red coral color of the show, red room, and this world is blue, and we get to some other colors later on. I'll connect that tissue. But it's also a color you associate with electricity.
Yes.
Right? Is blue. Well, first off, so you're seeing the static, we're getting the credits. I can't not mention the theme song. The theme from Fire Walk With Me is just gorgeous. Like, it's such a beautiful piece of music. This soundtrack for this film is amazing. It was something I bought when it came out. I still listen to it frequently. It's one of the only Lynch soundtracks where there's not any commercial music. So it's pretty much entirely, other than the closing credits, is entirely like the work of Angela Lynch and company, and it's fantastic. But you're here for this Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me, and we're pulling out to a freaking TV, and then the TV gets smashed. So it's like, this is not the TV show. Twin Peaks is dead. Long live Twin Peaks. And you get a few seconds of the most brutal murder of Teresa Banks. It's very brief, but that sound of her getting hit in the head is just a horror show. No! And that's how it starts. Like, this is like the beginning.
Not knowing, not recalling all of this the first time rewatching this, it made me think of like Leo and Shelley immediately, but it just put into mind the the violence in a domestic scene, the hidden violence in suburbia. But I love the idea of just starting out, and like you said, I had the same thing on my nose. You really get lulled by the score and the flickering lights. It's very like interesting but soothing at the same time. And then that abrupt violence out of nowhere is stunning and so effective. I love this. Yeah, so just a great way to start the movie.
Fantastic.
From here, Eric, the body of Teresa Banks, wrapped in plastic, floats down a river. Gordon Cole calls Agent Chet Desmond out in the field in Fargo and makes arrangements to see him.
This is also a fantastic image. So coming off like the murder and then the aftermath of the murder.
Mm-hmm.
And like you're meeting her the same way. You're meeting Teresa Banks just like we met Laura Palmer. Like this is the audience's first sight of her is wrapped in plastic, discarded like trash in the river. Cole asking that one woman where Chester Desmond is in Fargo, North Dakota, and how she like walks past the camera and we get another woman that's doing is just so strange.
It's so actually even forgot to write that down. But yes, the two different assistants come in and the women, just the way that Cole's set far back in the scene and they come towards it is the strangest staging. And he's standing in front of that big, huge photographic wallpaper of the forest scene behind him. It's incredible.
Oh, it's great too because he's calling from Oregon.
Oregon!
You have that scene, and it's like a great way to show that he's in a location without you could literally be anywhere.
Yeah.
And his shadow against the landscape is so striking. Like, this is such a great looking film. It's just completely gorgeous. And there's so many wonderful uses of shadow. And it's like this beautiful thing behind him and this dark shadow that's falling on the woods and this whatever sort of horror show that's happening in here. And then you go over to the bus scene, which is hysterical.
It's so
like
good.
All the kids with their faces planted on the glass. There's like a dog in the background sniffing around. One of the FBI guys has his gun drawn on the driver.
Yeah.
Two of the FBI guys, one guy, Mike Malone, another guy, John Hook. Mike was the set dresser. John Hook was a sound mixer, are playing the agents. The school bus driver, my take, is running like a prostitution ring, right, on the bus route, which is funny at face value. Like, it's just a funny gag, and the two women. But it also, like, hints at the same time at, like, the larger themes of the film, which is adults in positions of power exposing children to sex. Like, there's just this quick gag, which is funny. But then when you pull it back, you're like, okay, this is a movie about... And I guess we should say, obviously, you've seen Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, or else you wouldn't be listening to this. But we're going to cover some pretty heavy topics. And this is sort of the first intro into that. When Gordon talks so loud that Chet lowers the antenna, I've been laughing at that joke since this came out. I find it's absurd, but it's so funny. I love that. We also learned that Teresa Banks is 17. Now, she's played by Pamela Gidley, who was 26 at the time that they made this.
That explains it.
But it doesn't matter. Whatever. What is your take on this?
Well, that's interesting because she does Teresa Banks. The actress playing Teresa Banks always read as very much older to me, as did Cheryl Lee. But in a way that I think still works with the movie, so it doesn't really matter. She is kind of the one that's kind of leading some of these things as well. So just having that kind of maturity still makes sense. But anyway, this scene is absurd and hilarious, and I absolutely love it. There's no explanation given. It's all, you have to kind of piece together what you can just from what's there. But you have the two prostitutes behind the bus full of kids in the middle of a field as well. It's not even it's in the middle of a field surrounded by all the agents. They're getting cuffed. It's just great. And the kids are just crying the whole time with their faces pressed to the glass. It's terrific. You get Gordon Cole coming on here and we get the gags that we just love from him, or I love anyway, of, just misunderstanding what the person he's talking to is saying and repeating himself, trying to explain. No, Oregon! It's fantastic. It's great. It's perfect for this. So this entire scene plays for laughs. But you're right, it does have this darker, sinister undertone to it, which I didn't really make the connection to the larger themes, but you're totally right. I could see that reading. And then we get Gordon on a plane. Sorry, Gordon sending Chet on a plane to come to Portland. So we want to head over to the Portland airfield. We got Chet meeting Agent Sam Stanley and a woman named Lil, who gives Chet some useful information, and the guys drive to Deer Meadow.
Lil is his mother's sister's girl. Yeah. Man.
Yeah,
First off,
man.
Sam Stanley is a great character. I really like Sam Stanley from Spokane. He cracked the Whitman case, as you know, Dan.
I've heard about him.
You were just telling me about that on the way over. He carries this machine that's like his own invention that we get a bit more in a deleted scene.
It's his own invention. Okay. I loved the
it's
look
his own
of it.
Yeah. And
the look
he
is
uses it once. Right. Yep.
It's very retro sci-fi in a way that it's impractical in how large it is,
Yes,
but
it's
still
very
portable.
big and clunky, but he's
fantastic.
carrying it.
And carrying it everywhere. He's great. I love Kiefer Sutherland in this role. But anyway, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Sam Stanley's great. Now, he was mentioned in the pilot.
Diane, give this to Albert and his team. Don't go to Sam. Albert seems to have a little more on the ball. We need to bag and tag this.
So it's like a nice little tie back to
That's great.
That bit of evidence. I always wanted to give someone the glad hand, so I'm glad that he's giving it over to Sam Stanley. Chet's surprise is Lil. I love Lil. I was watching this. So you only watch certain scenes of this film in a house. Not that my son's young or anything, but he saw it and he was like, "Oh, it's like Aunt Gladys from Weapons." So if you've seen the film Weapons, I'm like, yes, that's clearly, I think, a nod to Lil here. So then Gordon does that hand thing. He puts his hand over his face. Now, I don't know, you may have your own take on whatever this is. The only thing I can think of is it's also something like where you would have rings that you would have over your face. I don't know. But when Chet hears the line, his mother's sister's girl, and he sees the hand, he's like federal. I'm going to learn later that it's like,
right.
I still don't quite know how we're
my
getting
interpretation.
to...
My interpretation is it's prison bars. The guy's behind. He's behind bars.
That 100% makes complete sense.
The other option is he's in an emo band and that's his bangs.
No,
one
and
or
it's
the
so
other.
obvious that it's prison bars.
It was not obvious to me at all until later when Chet and Sam are driving away and he's kind of quizzing Sam on the things that he saw. There's like, oh, okay, because that's when he says federal. He's probably in prison. That's bars.
You're 100% right. I've never thought of that. I've thought of that hand thing for so long, and of course it's prison bars.
Well,
and it makes sense for him saying federal because later he's going to say his father's and or
his uncle,
his uncle's in
missing.
because the uncle's missing. Whatever.
Yep.
That's great. So the drive over. When we get to Deer Meadow is like a shadow of Twin Peaks. And this drive over is just like Cooper arriving in Twin Peaks. Like we get that same similar driving shots. These FBI's going to town, just like we saw with Cooper arriving, which I love. All right, so here's the uncle is missing, which means the sheriff's uncle is in federal prison. And Dan figured it out. Now he says not Gordon's uncle. Was there any chance that he was talking about Gordon's uncle?
Right.
But
no.
he's like
okay,
feeling it out in his head. He's like, probably not Gordon's uncle. It's probably the sheriff's. Like how they jump from that the uncle to the prison bars to the sheriff's uncle. I don't know, but
right.
I'm so like sort of overwhelmed at the prison bar thing.
Well, there you go.
So
now you know.
obvious.
Now you know.
I don't know.
That's what I'm here for. Is the obvious.
Tell me about Lil. It's a Blue Rose thing. Something I can't tell you about.
Yeah.
Give me a little bit of mystery. I'm with you.
Well, I really love getting introduced to Chet. Which we only got very briefly in the previous scene. Really getting to see Chet here, getting to see Sam and brand new character. Lil is incredible. The way it's shot, the mystery, the enigmatic. I don't know if this is in the missing pieces at all. It's some references in the shooting script about Chet telling Sam how Gordon loves his codes, which is fine, but I like rather that they don't explain any of it. This is whatever it is, a psychic, someone who is sensitive in this way, whatever it is, just knows these things, is communicating it in the most obtuse way possible. But Chet is on the ball with all of it. And I like establishing the relationship between Sam and Chet, where Chet is kind of getting a sense of him. Like he understands he cracked the big case. That's cool. But like, what do you really notice? What are you picking up on? So kind of quizzing him through all that, noticing the Sam's the one that knows the thread. I mean, obviously Chet noticed it, but Sam brought it up unprompted that he noticed the thread that the dress was taken in. So I thought that was really cool. that image of Lil pantomiming all of this is one of the scenes that sticks out the most for me when I think of Fire Walk with You. It just pops out. And that's probably because this is one of the first scenes in the movie when I watched it for the first time, not knowing anything that's going on, that really jumped out at me as like, what am I watching? This is mind-blowing, and I loved it. So this is scene just is, it's iconic to me.
Her color is fantastic, like the reds, and again, the
Yeah.
emphasis on blue and reds and blues, which we're going to get into, it's just beautiful.
It's
I love
great.
it.
I love this scene. It's really good. And just seeing the two of them riding off to Deer Meadow in the car together, like you said, it's almost Cooper talking to Diane on tape, but instead we got the two of them going through this. It's really cool. And it starts setting up a little bit about Sam that we find out more later about his character and his quirks, which I think is really cool. But we'll get back to that.
Yeah, we'll cover that because I find him to be like Cooper.
All right, Eric, from here, the boys head out to Deer Meadow Sheriff's Office. Chet and Sam meet the local authorities. After being jerked around a bit, Agent Desmond discusses Teresa Banks with Sheriff Cable.
I mentioned this being like a bizarro version of Twin Peaks.
Mm-hmm.
I love the old-fashioned typewriter, though, that their version of Lucy has, and her laugh is amazing.
Yeah.
Her cackle, or however you would describe it, she almost also like reminds me in some way of Naomi Watts. So like her look and the way she interacts with who we meet, Deputy Cliff. I love it. I love this whole setup already, this weird sheriff station that's the opposite of what we're used to. And this is where we talked about, hey, we're going to do a copy and replace on Desmond for Cooper. This is like a different Cooper. I don't see ever coming in here and throwing down fists, like going right. He's much more intimidating, Chet, than Cooper is physically. And when he goes up on Cliff and he's grabbing him by the nose and he just knocks him down and he makes sure you better start that fresh pot, feels like a uniquely different character. Does not feel like a stand-in for Cooper.
Totally. Yep.
And I wonder if that was just I imagine just added. Like once they had Chris Isaac in there and he's adding little spices to the soup, as it were, that they developed this character, and so that's the way I would think. Sheriff Cable is such a freak. We learned about Deer Meadow in the autobiography. We heard about Sheriff Cable. In the autobiography, it is Cooper doing this, not Chet. But man, what a great character. Cable bends steel, that dumb picture of him like bending the metal.
So silly.
And when he's great, the actor is fantastic. When the State Boys called me about a J. Edgar coming up here, I think I said, "So what?" Yes, I'm all for it. I'm going to talk a lot about shadows, and if it gets annoying, I apologize. But the shadows in this film are just so great the way it's, whether it's like just the light coming in from like some of the back office doors, or Sheriff Cable's got his shadow on the wall. It's got such a beautiful look, this film. And if you have the Blu-ray, like it's gorgeous. Like at least the Blu-ray on the entire mystery box set is gorgeous. If you're watching it on Max, you're really missing out, because I had to bounce back and forth a couple times when I was doing multiple rewatches. It's just so beautiful. But I do have a bone to pick. I am a physical media person. I want to own these things. But my Blu-rays are all dying. Like,
what does that mean?
My Fire Walk With Me just stops, like in the middle of it. It just stops and it just pauses. Maybe it's my player and not the disc, but it also happened to episode 5. Now it doesn't play a certain scene. So
interesting.
I
watched it. I watched it on YouTube. I mean, iTunes. I purchased a Lynch film collection on YouTube, and it came with on iTunes. Came in the 4K version, but it doesn't have any of the extras at all. But it still looked beautiful. Looks beautiful.
Yeah, the one that's on the Max streaming is it looks okay, but when you watching a blue, it just the colors are
the compression doesn't work in that way. Yeah.
Oh, it's such a great looking movie. Last note is just I love Deputy Cliff popping out of that back office when Chet leaves with the boxes.
Yep.
And you just know these guys are bad, like they're up to something, creeping while you're sleeping. But what do you think
Absolutely.
of your meeting at this?
You're absolutely right. It's calling this kind of like a bizarre version or mirror version of Twin Peaks Sheriff's Department. Just the way the receptionist just reading the entire time, and she and the deputy kind of whispering to each other and laughing and just being completely dismissive of Chet and Sam. Well, Sam's basically blended into the walls, so that's fine. But you're right. This is where you see first we see Chet on the drive up and we see, okay, he's really smart, very capable. He understands all the things that are going on that Gordon just told him. Gordon trusts him. So there's a lot of stock that we put in Chet right away. But then which is very much like Cooper. Then we get this scene that is not Cooper at all. We wouldn't see Cooper do this, grabbing a deputy by the nose and yanking him around. It's terrific. He's got guts to go into this, sheriff's office on their turf. And I mean, rightly say like this is a federal thing, but not to put up with any of the bull. The Sheriff Cable calling Desmond little fella is great. And then Desmond says it back to him later, which is just terrific. It's just such a great way to set up the tension between them. And what's the deputy's name? Deputy Cliff.
Yeah. They're Andy, I guess.
So smarmy. It's fantastic, which is an opposite of Andy. He is completely rotten to the core, and Andy is so pure that it's problematic how pure he is. Like, it's just completely opposite ends of the spectrum. Really, really good. But from here, we get the two of these guys heading out to see Teresa in the morgue out back, I guess. It's just they got their morgue out back. We got our own morgue.
One note, about not to a stupid note, but the fact that, like, you look at, like, Cooper meeting Harry and how that went, him meeting Cable. There's no coffee. Like, the idea of, like, they're constantly shoving coffee in your face and donuts,
right.
And it's just so much hospitality. And this, it's like 4-day-old coffee, and you're not going to get a cup. And it's just those little details are fantastic.
Well, that's true. Cooper meeting Harry, he even sets things off on a smooth footing from the beginning. I know that there can be tension between when the feds come in. Like, he gets ahead of it immediately. Here, it's the exact opposite, and they're just right away into the fight.
Absolutely.
There's no pretense at all. So it's great as a the whole thing with Lynch, especially like we were talking about in the finale of season 2, the circular nature where he kind of, we visit the double R at the end, which is the same as the beginning. We get circular nature of these things as well with the murders, but also the idea of this mirror image of things, I think plays out throughout. So it's great to see that so front and center here. But Eric, we're going to head to the morgue. It's time for the morgue. Stanley and Desmond examine the body of Teresa Banks and go over the details of her past, and then cover some clues with that mysterious machine that Sam's been carrying around with him.
I love the line. I already feel like I guess if you could do like one of those word things, it's going to be love,
the word cloud,
beautiful, and whatever word cloud. And I will also say this is a very dark movie.
Yeah,
very heavy themes. Certainly hard to watch. The ideas behind some of this are so dark, but this is one of the funniest movies. I find so much of this film funny. Like, there's parts that just crack me up. I find it very. People say it's like, oh, there's no humor in Fire Walk With Me, but it's full of, like, this, when he says the entire office cost $27,000, furniture included.
I figure this whole office, furniture included, is worth $27,000.
He's such like a great character, like his attention to detail, adding all these things up. That's where it feels very much like Cooper to me.
Yeah.
A lot of Cooper energy with all of those things and being able to present it. And Chet doesn't quite know what to do with it or how to process it yet.
Yeah. I know you don't read the script. I don't know if it's in the missing pieces, but in the script throughout, Sam continues to do that about everything. Like, he mutters it not to anyone, but just under his breath. Like when later when they come to collect Teresa's body, take it back to Portland, the van that's there, he says $27,000, whatever, about the van. Like, he does this several times. So I like that idea. It's almost like a little, this is the era of Rain Man as well. So there's a little bit of that there as well. But he's so hyper competent in his ability to observe the small details. It's fantastic. Anyway.
So yeah, we get inside there. So much great stuff happens in this morgue. This morgue scene is fantastic. We learn a little bit more about Teresa Banks, that she lived at the Fat Trout trailer park for a month. She works at Hap's Diner. Can't wait to get there. Work the night shift. And that nobody came to claim the body, which is sad considering we're told that she's 17. The edits, God, Mary Sweeney is brilliant. Like, the edits from the close-ups of her face to her eye to her teeth is just haunting.
Yes.
And Lynch apparently had made or got like some kind of rubber device that Pam Gidley, who's the actress who played Teresa Banks, put in her mouth to get that like open mouth look.
Mm-hmm.
it's horrifying, and it feels like a corpse.
Yes.
Like it feels like they're working with the corpse, or that it's some kind of, it's not human at this point. Like it's because she's supposed to have been in the water for a while. It's beautiful. Maybe it's the wrong word, but it is.
Yeah. Well, but the same, like you said before, we meet Teresa Banks wrapped in plastic, and we first see Laura dead and just out of the water. So we get the same thing to a large extent with Teresa. And those close-up, I felt the same way. Just you see her kind of more of an establishing shots. You see her entire upper body, but then just those tight close-ups of the bits and pieces of her. It's
so good.
Haunting. It's great.
And when you think about like the opposites, how Laura was found, Doc Hayward, Sheriff Truman, Andy's crying, love, emotion, people that knew her, versus this group that finds her. And we're going to learn they're connected to her when we get to the trailer park and everything else. So it's very cool. All right, so Sam's doing his inspection. We learned she was bludgeoned to death. This is the first mention of the ring. So
Absolutely.
that she's wearing a ring, or she has an indication that she wore a ring. There's no ring in the files or in her personal effects. So we're to take the killer likely took it, or one of the deputies. Sam is the one that finds the letter under the ring finger of the left hand. Thanks to his machine, Cooper is able to sort of do it with just a little thing of tweezers, but Sam's got the whole thing where you can lift the nail up. Horrifying to see that, but you get the letter T. At the end of the day, they're going to go off to Haps, but you find out they've been there for 11 hours. It's 4:30 to 3:30.
Yeah.
That's a long
long time.
So they've had their hands full.
Yeah, I mean, I want to mention too, throughout this movie, throughout the show too, but especially in this movie, both the soundtrack and the sound effects throughout heighten this to such an extent. Throughout this scene, after the missing ring and they're looking for it, the audio is all backwards. It sounds very like Nine Inch Nails to me. This is around the era of like the beginning of like Pretty Hate Machine, that sort of thing. Very industrial, but all played backwards. And it's so disorienting and so alarming. It feels great. But then also when they lift up her ring finger, the sound that they use for the sound effect, it's like almost like peeling bark off a tree. It's like that visceral. It's so hard to watch because of that sound, as well as the visual, obviously, but the sound just really sells it and brings it home. It's so horrifying.
The sound design is fantastic.
It's fantastic.
In this film.
Throughout the entire thing, it's great. And then when they find the nail, the letter T under a nail, for some reason, to me, when Sam and Chet see that, it just gives them pause. The way they look at each other, like, what the hell they gotten themselves into, sort of thing. It's terrific. But yeah, I don't know what else happened in the rest of the remaining 11 hours that they were working with Teresa there, but that's a lot in the little bit that we got to see.
Hello, friends. It's that time again when we say thank you to the wonderful people that have made this show possible. I, of course, am talking about the members of the Black Lodge on our Patreon. It's Chuck Suffel and Gregory Flanagan and Dawn Adamo and Banjo Track and Eric Knopp and Jake Jagello and Matthew Fuller. All of you people have a spot in my heart and a warm bowl of Garmonbozia for your bellies. That doesn't sound right. How did they get here? How did they get a shout out like this? Because they have joined our Patreon, which is available right now. So if you want to support the show, you can stop by and sign up for free or do one of the paid tiers that gets you the secret podcasts, and you help us out. Go to ericgrissom.com/meanwhile, and you should see a link for the Patreon there.
From here, though, after their all-nighter examining Teresa's body, the boys continue their investigation at Hap's Diner, and they chat with the locals.
Yeah, the weird double R. Even just from the outside, you get that clown sign for Haps. I think about Leo and Leo's clown thing and the idea of clowns. But it's also a half a face, right? So it's like a reflection of Twin Peaks. It's just half a side, and the side that we're seeing is crying. So it's like the sad half of the clown face. We start out, we're in the back office with Jack, the manager of this place, and we're just dropped in mid-conversation. Like, we're not really, just all of a sudden we're in mid-conversation. The flashes of light are going off. So already you're ratcheted up, both tension-wise, because it's like, Paul Thomas Anderson firecrackers going off.
Cosmo.
It's Chinese.
But we know like flashing lights and what they mean and what they've come to signify for this. So it's already like a weird, even before we pull out and see who's in the room with them. Because when we do pull out, we see there's a woodsman that looks like the same kind of woodsman that we're going to see in the place above the convenience store later, sitting in a doorway. Looks like a doorway, but it doesn't really go anywhere. Like you can't see where it goes, but it definitely seems like a doorway. Like, is this place connected to the above the convenience store place, or connected to the red room, or clearly connected to this other thing? Because we have electricity like living in this place.
Yeah.
And the light that he's working on, so there's 3 guys there. There's also a guy that's creating the light that's working on a lamp.
Working on a lamp, right. Trying to fix the electricity on the lamp.
The shape of the lamp reminds me of something that we'll see in The Return, which I guess we'll talk about. So I'm going to stop there and have you talk about this, and then we'll talk about Irene. We'll go inside the diner.
Okay, yeah. So we got Jack, who is now Say Goodbye to Jack on his name tag which is great. I guess he took over the place from Hap at some point. But he starts with this, now Irene is her name, and it is night, but don't go any further with it. There's nothing good about it. I had no idea what the heck he was talking about.
That is a song.
It's Goodnight Irene. It's the song Goodnight Irene.
It's a Lead Belly song.
Irene, good night. Irene, good night.
So for him to like, and they all got it, and then but like it's just a really funny way to like, what a strange way to introduce this character who's talking about this other character we haven't met yet, and it feels very cryptic and foreboding, but it's actually not on the surface of it. It's just like, don't tease her about her name, basically.
Yeah, no, it makes no sense. I've never found it made any sense until like I had watched extra stuff. Like, and then like I've heard Irene, the actress, talk about how there's a scene outside in the parking lot, and like there's a longer connection to that song, and it was a joke that maybe didn't work, she thought, and whatever. So, but seeing like even him just saying, don't go any further with it. Like, you don't get the leading question. You just go, Irene is her name, it is night. And like, you're like, what? You don't even know like that you're in the manager's office necessarily. It could be the entrance to the, like,
no idea where you are.
Know where you are. So you're just dropped in it.
Flashing light. You got all these characters, especially in this diner, but all throughout Lynch. But they're such character actors that are so, not that I recognize them from other things, but they just feel so recognizable. Like they just are, what do I want to say? They just have such striking characteristics to them.
They're unique.
Very unique, yeah. So Jack, just the look on his face, and he's wearing that black kind of see-through shirt that has like the silver threads running through it as well. Yeah. So it's like, what a strange outfit for him to be wearing in this place.
He's drooling too.
Oh, I didn't notice that. That's cool.
He's got like this little bit of drool coming out of his mouth. And you mentioned the name tag, which is
the
wild.
Name tag says like, say hello to Jack with the hellos crossed out and says goodbye. The guy working on the lamp, like, is he using a soldering iron? I don't know what he's doing, and it's just like flashing the lights, but like, that's crazy. You wouldn't be doing that to try to fix a lamp. So none of it really makes logical sense, but it all works really well on this like deeper intuitive level. Obviously, like you said, we're going to keep going back to the theme of electricity throughout all of this and the flashing lights. So this is another like that blue-white light that we get from that as well.
And like a closed system loop, rotating thing, like hello, goodbye, hello, goodbye, hello, goodbye. Like it's all part of the same thing. Like this endless corridors and the painting, hello, goodbye. Like it's all.
Let's go in and meet Irene.
I love this whole opposite of the double R thing. The way Hap's Diner is reflected off the back wall is fucking phenomenal. So when you get the 2-shot of Sam and Chet, they're sitting at the diner, and it cuts over to Irene and it cuts back to them. Behind them, you can see Hap's Diner in lights against the wall, and it's just gorgeous. Like it's just gorgeous. And all the while that they're in that 2-shot, you can see coming out of the office is the woodsman. And he just sits there like an observer, like he's watching this whole thing go down.
You know what? I didn't even notice him. I did notice that you could still see the light flashing from the manager's office, but I didn't notice a guy coming out. Awesome.
Yeah,
okay.
It's the same guy sitting in the doorway is now out here. So there's something, we're traveling through electricity.
Yeah.
I like when Irene calls him a towhead, like Irene, the Irene who's not going to do drugs. There's some weird, okay, so the Double R is this nice place. You've got a giant ice cream cone.
Yep.
In this place, you've got like a chainsaw stuck in a piece of wood that's like on the top of their milk machine. It's just wild.
Yeah.
When the guy says, "Are you talking about that little girl that got murdered?"
You got something to tell us?
I know shit from Shinola.
I have heard in interviews from Deepak Nair, who is the assistant director. He's worked with Lynch a lot. He worked on Twin Peaks. He has said that sometimes they'd be shooting something and David Lynch would give a line to an extra just to piss producers off because it meant they had to pay them now. So he would just throw lines out. They were talking about this scene when he talked about it, so I'm assuming that maybe he just threw this line to that. Because already you've got this older guy and this French girl. Now, I don't know what she's saying.
The night is the right time.
Okay.
That's what it says. Yep. So yeah, she says la nuit est le bon moment. But which is just
so nighttime is the right time. Is that what it is?
Basically, yeah. Basically,
her name is Irene. It is night. So there you go.
And the two of them together. I know. Sorry, interrupting you in the middle of this. That guy asking about the little girl that was murdered, and then the French woman who doesn't even really look at Chet and Sam, is only looking at him. And the age difference between them. What is their relationship? Why is I guess Deer Meadows close enough to the Canadian border that maybe
French-Canadian.
The fact that she's speaking French isn't so weird, but still kind of strange. They're there at what presumably very early in the morning, Sam says. So it's presumably 4 o'clock or so that they're in there. And the fact that he repeats that again later, which is not in the script, the second time he says it is not there, and the knowing shit from Shinola is a little bit different. But that's very interesting because I don't know if it was the case at that time or if it's still the case, but it had been, you would have to pay extra scale if they had 3 lines or more. So in this case, he has that first time, then the shit from Shinola, that he says it again, that's 3 times he gets paid. So that would actually really work out well. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, because you said it was in the script, so I'm like, okay, well then maybe he was referring
just the one
to a different
time.
scene. But okay, yeah.
Yeah,
That's wild. That's wild.
It's pretty funny.
I love this shot, again, being the opposite of the Double R. The shot of the coffee, it just looks like brown water. You see into Sam Stanley's coffee cup, and the Double R, you're treating yourself to 2 cups of black coffee, and he's drinking the worst looking coffee that you've ever seen in your life. It's such a nice, funny little gag. I love it. We learned Teresa was on drugs, cocaine. Cocaine is a hell of a drug. It plays a big part of this film in the world of Twin Peaks, really. And because electricity, we keep talking about electricity, it's such an important part. There is a pole behind, I think it's behind Chet. Yeah, it's behind Chet Desmond. And it's not, listen, it's probably likely that the outlet was there in the location, but it happened and I saw it. It's above his head. It's high enough on the pole that why would you have a plug there? Probably for a light. Doesn't matter. I'm attaching the electricity that's coming for Chet, and I'm seeing a bit of it here, which I love.
That's great.
Chet is a bit mean, the making poor Stan burn himself, and I feel really bad for Stan throughout this movie, with him saying, Chet saying it's late, and then him following up with it's early. It's like, God damn, these guys have been up forever. What other bits of information we got? We know that for 3 days before she died, her left arm went dead, and we got to think about Mike. Again, left arm, that's where Bob's putting the letters.
That's also where the ring finger was. The ring was on that side.
Yep, so left hand is a big thing. Mike's missing arm, all important. Sam is great. He wants to do some real, quote unquote, real nerve work in Portland.
Well, which is interesting
too,
because
the body.
Her arm went dead. It was numb. She couldn't feel it. Nerve damage. It's electrical impulses. So it does tie into electricity even more so there.
Good point.
It was great.
Well, again, goddamn Mary Sweeney. This is how you end a scene.
You want to hear about our specials? We don't have any.
We talked about it already. There's a scene in the parking lot after. You don't need that. But it's such a great line. And then to cut on it and to jump over.
And to leave her with that is great.
Yeah.
That woman is wonderful. The way her voice, her charisma, the way that she comes across, the way she can just milk the time it takes to take a drag off a cigarette and blow it out, just holding my attention the entire time she's doing it. She's wonderful. I loved her so much. Great. I loved that throughout as well. Ched and Sam are asking her questions, and her responses tend to be like, well, if you ask me. She says that so many times. I found that very endearing. It was like, they're literally asking you. But she says that so many times. Well, if you ask me, that's great. I felt so bad for Sam. I don't understand why Chet does that to him about, is he going to look at his watch to check the time and he pours the coffee on himself? And he does it. It almost feels to me like he's deciding whether or not he wants to do it. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to go for it. And then he like kind of smiles about it. Then I think he does feel a little bit bad.
Yeah, I agree.
But it just, so that's another thing. Cooper would never, ever do that. That's not in his nature at all. So I like that there is the separating these two characters from each other.
He's such a
really
I
nice.
really like his character. Like, listen, I love Kyle MacLachlan. Like, he's amazing. I love Cooper. I would watch Cooper 1,000 times, but I'm just happy it worked out the way that it worked out. That we got this, and we get Cooper, and we get this whole other world.
Two very competent special agents that just have very different styles, and I think it enriches both of them to see them in contrast to each other. It's great. Eric, it's time to head out to the Fat Trout Trailer Park. Chet and Sam disturb the manager Carl before 9 a.m., giving him more shit he's got to do now, including making a pot of Good Morning America.
Yeah, god damn it. Yes, finally. Harry Dean Stanton.
You're one of your favorites, right?
I love Harry Dean Stanton.
You like the actor and this character too, I presume. But like,
yes,
he's
both,
great.
Very much so.
Yep.
So on the door, because I have to pay attention to all these stupid things. Like,
all the notes.
Rod, I'm moving out. Sam, the hole in my roof is getting bigger. Rod, my cat is gone. Millie. Rod, my fridge does not stay cold. Larry number 6. And Rod, something's wrong with the trailer. There's other ones. That's his last name. So it's Carl Rod. A rod is used to draw electricity, which is interesting when you consider the number 6 electric pole and Carl's lament that he's already gone places. I just want to stay where I am.
That's
so there
great.
is a connection to him and this other electric outside world. The scene with Carl when he says that, and you said it in the intro.
That goddamn trailer is more popular than Uncle's Day in a whorehouse. You see what I mean? It just means I've more shit I gotta do now.
This is how I feel all the time. Anytime anything goes wrong, I want to start crying and just say it's more shit I gotta do now.
That way you just said it now is so much similar to the way that he says it. He sounds just so about to break. And that happens so many times throughout. He's just barely on the edge of keeping it together. It's terrific. I love him.
It's funny that his name is, like, everybody calls him Carl. All the notes are Rod. But now I can have Carl Rod so I can get my electricity connection.
I love that. Yeah.
All right. So Carl takes them to Teresa Banks' trailer, which is nearly empty. Like, it looks like she's hardly decorated. She's only been there a month, right? We know that. But the camera, of course, pans over to a light socket.
Electrical socket.
Yeah,
and it's broken.
Is it broken? I know there's something like in front of it.
It's chipped. The two outlets there, the top one is chipped and broken. I love that detail.
It's so great. Okay. So we see Carl outside. There's a shot and it cuts out to Carl like saying, hey, blah, blah, look around in there. And then we get like this faraway shot, like almost like someone's watching them.
Yes.
Which is just an interesting thing to do. Now we connect her with the ring. We see the ring on the photograph. Can't really make out the ring yet. We're going to see it up close later, which we'll talk about. I'll save that.
Love that photograph, too. The way that he films the photograph, the way that we're seeing it, is tight close-up on her lips, ruby red, like unreal red lips. Seeing her eyes, did we see these bits and pieces like we saw the corpse as well? But here, it looks to me like a nice pinup model, like print of a beautiful woman. So like it's almost romanticized in a way. And I think it's such a beautiful, striking way. We've only seen her dead, but now we see her in this beautiful light in the best possible way. She looks gorgeous, almost ethereal and unreal. I just love the
that's
way
a
he
good
does
point.
that.
Absolutely. She's got some life.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carl making a couple Good Morning America.
It's so good.
As I was writing that note, I was immediately just made a cup of coffee. I love coffee. It was like I got to that, I'm writing the note, and I was like, I have to drink a cup of coffee as I'm writing. Freaking Good Morning America, the sting of the 48-hour blend.
Yes.
Sam Stanley with his "We need a good wake me up, don't we, Agent Desmond?" that goes unanswered.
Nothing. Deadpan.
And then he repeats it is adorable. And again, I said this before, but I love Kyle, I love Cooper, and I never, ever want this scene not to happen. I want this moment to be this moment with the three of them.
Yes.
And I'm just so grateful. Okay, so then the old woman comes in, right? So she's covering one eye. She's covered in oil and grime, like the clown that we saw, like half the eye of the clown. And then here she comes in. And we hear that sound of the man from another place. And then you get that electric pole with the number 6. It's also the same sound that the giant made, or the waiter made, hallelujah, from the episode 29.
Woo! Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Here's where we really know Carl is connected. He said, I've already gone places. I just want to stay where I am.
Yeah.
He's been there. He's been to the lodge. Like Cooper, Laura, Sarah, he's gifted or damned. Now, in the secret history, he is tied to another character that we know from Twin Peaks. I'll leave that unsaid for now.
Okay.
And then we just cut over to the mountain. You get the wind in the trees. It's like, this is the greatest.
This scene is so wonderful. He's great. That shot, like you had already mentioned, where they were outside and we're seeing the trailer and Carl's standing there while Chet and Sam are investigating inside. It does feel like someone's watching. Is it the woman? Is it whatever? Can you tell like where he's looking at all? Like,
I think
couldn't
he's
really make it
looking
out.
towards where the person, I can't remember, but he is looking in and saying, but then his attention is also outward because he's running the place.
Such a small moment, but it's really cool.
Yeah,
when the
it's
old
great.
woman comes in, she's got the dirty face, the cold compress over one eye with the cane. I thought at first it was the actress Anne Ramsey.
Yeah.
From Goonies or Throw 'Em Out from the Train. It's not her. She died in 88, but she looks so much like her. I really wish it was. I love Anne Ramsey. Rest in peace. Anyway, but her approach to the trailer, it's scored with that whooshing sound, and but also the dolly shot that comes. I don't know if it's dolly shot, but the tracking shot that comes in is very floaty at the same time, which we got in episode 29 as we're coming towards Glastonbury Grove for the first time. It just feels floating, like it's ethereal. It's not actually tethered to reality. I love just that. The sound and the camera work gives you this impression of something supernatural. It's greater than the sum of its parts. I don't know why it works so well, but it really does. I love that. Everyone just kind of stares at her. Doesn't even really say anything until Chet finally says, "Did you know Teresa Banks?" And she kind of shivers and walks backwards out of the place. It's so unsettling. It's terrific. But Carl's reaction, he's got this stare that's like a 1,000-yard stare. He's someplace else in his head, mournful almost. He's on the edge of tears this entire time. So yeah, that connection to the pole, the number 6. Is there a significance like in the community, in your own headcanon?
Lynch is on the 6-7 train long before everyone, because we're going to get a 7 as well. No, I don't know what it necessarily means. I see that woman though coming in as one of these covered in oil, like she's coming from to pull Carl back in. And he's like, I've already been places. I don't want to go anything. But as far as like
that's
the
great.
number 6 on the pole, why there's a number 7 when Agent Jeffries comes up, it's a 7th floor, so you see the 7. I don't know.
Okay.
I know David Lynch likes certain numbers and will like add numbers up, and like, so that's a thing that I've seen him do. I don't know what it means.
I wouldn't pay it much attention in that initial shot, but when we come back and Chet comes the second time, we see it again.
Oh, it's intentional.
So that, there's something to that. But
I agree it's intentional. I just don't know.
The devil is 6. The devil is 6. The devil is 6. The God is 7. The God is 7.
I definitely read the old woman as being, as we see like in The Return later, and we see it above the convenience store, like the dirt and everything, that she's one of these entities or connected to them. But that putting that connected with Carl, I know that he says the line, "I've already gone places, I want to stay where I am." So I saw that, but like you saying that she was kind of like either warning him or beckoning him or something to connect it. It's great.
If you think about them going to Haps and there's the woodsman in the doorway, and then they go and they're questioning everything, and the woodsman comes out, and now they're going to the trailer and another woods person is coming. So they're also watching, what's happening. It's very cool.
Let's head back to the world's friendliest sheriff's station in Deer Meadow. Desmond and Stanley are able to have Teresa's body moved to Portland, and Desmond goes back to the trailer park.
Fantastic establishing shots throughout all of this. So you get like the Fat Trout sign. Here we get the Deer Meadow Sheriff Station sign again, and it's got this shadow cast over it. Again, it's like casting half of it in darkness. Shadows are always great throughout this whole episode, throughout this whole film, especially in the Sheriff Station. Cable's line of "we got a phone here, it's got a little ring" is a great line, even if he's being a dick.
Yep.
It's just fantastic. And now we're going to go right back. I'm not going to spend too much time. Do you have anything to say about the sheriff's station? Because you can go now.
No,
we're going to go back to
just that line is great. That's I got a phone that's got a little ring.
Right.
That's it.
So Sam knows that there's something about the Blue Rose, right? And then that's why Chet's got to go back to the trailer park. And so you're already dialed in and ready for some good stuff.
It's goodbye to Sam then. At this point, right? Goodbye to Sam.
Yeah, he's gone.
Right. Good to see him. All right.
It was nice knowing you, Sam. All right. So at the Fat Trout, Chet learns that Deputy Cliff lives there too. I'd mentioned that before. Maybe he was the one watching. And that he's not too far away from Teresa's trailer. He's got a red truck. Again, red is this color, Leo's Corvette, red fire. It's kind of a negative color, like the curtain color. It's a loaded color. There's also a very blue feel to this particular scene, especially in a lot of this movie, but this scene in particular feels extremely blue. Unlike the warmth of Twin Peaks the show, this is a very cool looking scene. Now the woman that waddles up and is like, "Where's my hot water, Carl?" So I got this little thing here, Dan.
Eric is pulling out a book with a ton of stickies in it, like normal.
Not too many stickies. There's not too many stickies.
All right. Sure.
All right. So where was I? All right. So I mentioned Deepak, right? So he's the assistant director. I'm reading here from Room to Dream. This is the book by David Lynch and Christine McKenna. Excellent book. Highly recommend it. Okay. Quote, "One day we were driving home from the set," Nair continued, "and David said, 'Stop the car, Craig.' And then he said, 'See that woman over there on the street? Get her telephone number.' I said, 'What for?' He said, 'I don't know. Just get her number.' So I did, and the matter was forgotten. A few days later, he says, 'Remember when I told you to get that woman's telephone number? She's in the next scene with Harry Dean Stanton.'"
Where's my goddamn hot water?
So that's the "Where's my hot water, Carl?" was just some woman that he drove by and was like, "One day I'm going to use that woman." And she's great. She's fantastic in this scene. That's also something I will wander around the house and be like, "Where's my hot water, Carl?" You can't not think about that. So all of this is happening when she comes and she pulls Carl away. We're near that junction box. Now we see number 7. Is there anything to the number 7? I don't know. But he stops before going to Deputy Cliff's trailer. He sees the number 6, and you hear the sounds. He's drawn to the Chalfont trailer / Tremont trailer. Lynch, by the way, I said it was ahead of the thing with the 6-7 thing. So we got a 6 and a 7.
Yep.
My son's smiling now as I added that in there. When you go to the trailer and like the lights inside, it's very haunting. There's something about it it looks like a ghost or like a thing that shouldn't be there. There's nothing to it.
There's nothing, right. You can't put your finger on what it is, but it feels...
Yeah. Just the contrast, I think, and it's just
It's a warm
done.
light in the very blue surroundings. Yeah.
Yes. Wonderful. So, Chet's going to knock on the trailer, look underneath. He sees the ring, and he reaches for it, and he's gone. But the symbol on the ring is a little bit different than what we've seen. There's like a little extension on the edge of it, which
I hadn't
I
noticed.
guess I'll include a photo.
Sure. I mean, I know what the ring looks like. I didn't realize this one looks somewhat
like
different.
It's like a diamond with the two things, right?
Yep.
But there's like a little extra little hoo-ha over the top of the diamond on the ring. That's all I got for this. What do you have for this scene? Where's my hot water?
Where's my hot water, Carl? Again, the woo sound effect is great. I love how it recurs throughout all of this. Just this Chet getting pulled towards that trailer, kind of the intuition taking over, coming towards it. Really cool. Again, sorry to harp on this, but I was reading the script as I was following along, just because I was looking through some of the dialogue. In the script, it says that a hand is visible in the window and then is taken away. I'm glad they did not do that in the actual filmed version. This is so much better, where it's just eerie and weird and pulling him towards it. He just has this gut reaction to it. Great.
And it's even like more than intuition in the sense that like it's like the physical electricity. Like you hear the sound and you can feel it going through the wires.
Yeah,
the way that
yeah.
they do because of the sound. The way it's, what is that, like a Doppler effect? It creates motion with audio, and they do that a couple of times. Like we'll get into that with the David Bowie. It's just so freaking good. Yeah, I like that so much better than thinking it would have
Seeing
been a hand
something,
or
yeah,
something.
something else that would actually attract him to it. The one thing note about the ring underneath the trailer is on that mound of dirt, which is very similar to the mound of dirt that we see the paper that's and the half heart necklace, from the actual trailer, train trailer where Laura was killed. But that's cool. So then he touches it and fade out, and that's the last we see of Chet.
Sorry,
Pretty
Chet, wherever you are.
crazy way. I mean, this is like the first act of the movie. It's just all of this stuff, and now we're going to move into a little bit more familiar territory. But what a great way to introduce all of this, and it already leaves us with a mystery.
Oh yeah, it's about a half hour, I think.
Yeah, half an hour into it. It's like a fifth of the way of the movie, or a quarter of the way into the movie. We already have a mystery of like what's going on here. It's amazing. Eric, let's head over to the Philadelphia field office of the FBI. Cooper meets a long-lost agent, and they don't talk about Judy.
No, this was exciting in the movie theater because I went in this movie I didn't read all of this news articles, or like I didn't know what to expect. So I was sort of expecting Cooper to be a bigger part of this. So when I was watching this for the first time, you're like, who's Chet Desmond? Like, who are these people? And then all of a sudden you get to Cooper and it was like, yes!
Yay!
Like all of a sudden here's Cooper. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Like 10/10, February 16th, Cooper's worried about this dream. We know about Cooper's dreams. Like we know the significance. You're already dialed in. If you weren't freaking out already about whatever was going on at the Fat Trout trailer park, now you're really like, okay, things are going to get very interesting. And that his dream involves this hallway, which this part is so fucking great.
This is the best.
Him staring at the camera and then going off and looking and seeing no one there and then going back and forth. And he does that a few times until the elevator arrives on the 7th floor. Now, number 7 again. We saw a 7 here. We saw a 7 when Chet turned around. And we're getting 6s. We're getting 7s. I don't know. But when it first opens, like when the doors first opens, there's a pause before anyone comes out.
Right.
Then we cut back, and when we go back to the door, you hear the sound of backwards motion. Not unlike something from The Man from Another Place would do. Like even that stomp you pointed out in 29.
The long pause where no one comes out of the elevator was very cool, but I didn't really pick up on the sound cue on that. I will say one thing with the 6 and the 7, there is a phrase called being at 6s and 7s. It's being in a state of disarray. I don't know if that was intentional, but like that is like an old saying. So I think it precedes 6, 7. But but anyway, I wonder if that has something to do with it, because there is this like state of chaos and putting things back into order before. Yeah. The state of confusion.
The long lost Philip Jeffries, played by David Bowie. I mean, what a gift this is. God damn it. Comes walking towards Cooper, who leaves to check on the monitor, only to see himself on TV. In a way, like we have been watching Cooper on TV at home, he is watching Cooper on TV, which is something to think about for later. So there's a lot here, right?
So much here. This scene, man.
So my take anyway is there's like 2 timelines running essentially next to each other. So there's the timeline where Jeffries is there, and there's the one where he isn't, and this particular camera is picking up both of these things kind of happening simultaneously. For whatever that's worth. And Jeffries has moved from one timeline to another, and then he leaves again. So he's sort of like blipping in, blipping out. The way Cooper is so freaked out and panicked is such a great acting choice. I love how worried he is, like yelling for Gordon. We find out he's not going to talk about Judy. Now, Judy, I don't know if I mentioned to you or if you knew, was named after Jill Engles' sister, Judy. Now, Jill played Trudy the waitress she's married to Bob Engles, so he named Judy after his sister-in-law.
So without getting too deep into things that aren't in the movie and aren't in any of the media that we've consumed to this point, this is the first reference to Judy. And in the way that's presented here, it is either nonsensical or just something that we don't have any kind of understanding.
There's two references in the film, right? So there's this, I'm not going to talk about Judy, and then the monkey says Judy. So it has some...
The monkey says Judy?
Yeah.
I missed that entirely. Really?
Okay, yeah, we'll get to that later.
Shit, that's pretty cool. But
yeah,
so
there's
I don't know if
Judy's things.
I don't know if you know this at all, but like how much of the Judy mythology was actually here from the beginning and like gets built on in the Return and the books as well, or was it more of like it's amazing to me to think that such a seemingly throwaway line in this movie has such deep meaning for the mythology of the overall cosmos of this thing.
We're gonna see more of Jeffries in the Missing Pieces.
Okay.
So we can talk about it a little bit more there. I will just say, like, Judy was going to be a character in a place that Jeffries was coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he didn't want to talk about it, because it was kind of reminding him of where he was coming from.
Interesting. Okay.
And it was also, I think Bob Engles had said once, like, it was connected to Wyndham Earle. Maybe Wyndham Earle was going to be in this weird place. He's in, like, Buenos Aires. But that's it. I don't think they had... again, we're going to talk about Judy and
we'll talk about
Return
later.
And what that even means and whether there is an answer or not an answer. But I don't think it was as deep as... All this stuff is just finding the meaning and connecting with
That's
stuff.
exactly what I love about it. And we talked about it from the pilot when we started talking about this. David Lynch allowing intuition and serendipity to direct the way this show is going to turn out, and it doesn't feel like an afterthought. It actually gets deeply integrated into the story.
Yeah.
That's genius. That's amazing. I love that.
So then Jeffries is going to point at Cooper and say, "Who do you think this is there?" When he says that, I think that is Jeffries accusing Cooper of being Bob, right? Cooper isn't Bob now, but he will be. And where Jeffries has come from and where he's going, time doesn't move the way that we know it moves. Like, we've already seen that. We've already seen time. We see that in this very movie. And so he is confused about what time he's in and what place he's in and where he exists at any moment. He's like mad. But that's why I think he's saying, "Who do you think this is?" Now, we're going to get more connections to that in the Return and maybe different ways of reading it. But that's kind of how I'm looking at that whole thing.
Yeah, that makes sense to me too. This next section, this chunk is such a crazy lore dump in a way that is not exposition. You have to connect the pieces together. It's so dense. I love
Well, let's
this
stop
bit.
then. I won't go further and tell me about meeting, because we'll do that bit next. So we'll do Jeffries freaking out and being in the meetings after you talk about meeting Jeffries for the first time.
Yeah, nothing really more to add except to see Cooper now is so exciting. Like you said about the dreams and warning Gordon, but getting to see Gordon and Albert's there and Cooper together, these three guys together in the scene, but in a different place than we've seen them before. It's kind of thrilling in a way, I guess, not to overstate it, but it's thrilling to, at this point, finally get to see them. And this, what's going on with you going into the hallway and then checking the monitors into the hallway and back and forth, and we don't know what's happening. But it is such a spooky and unsettling thing when he sees himself on the monitor and Jeffries is walking up behind him and doesn't touch him. He slides right by him. There's no interaction at all until he leaves frame. Jeffries leaves frame, and there's a shadow that goes across Cooper's face. So like there is actual interaction between them, but no physical interaction. Obviously, Cooper is staring at the camera and has no acknowledgement of what's going on around him. So it's, again, if you're going to talk about shadows, we're going to point them out whenever I see them as well. But just that moment of the shadow coming across his face as well. It's really cool. Seeing David Bowie in whatever, I guess, undercover Buenos Aires garb. I don't know. It's pretty great. Just wonderful to see him in this role. So exciting to see him here. And he just comes in like a storm, just like you have no idea what he's talking about. He's so animated, so distraught at the same time. It's great. And then to say that line, pointing out, "Who do you think this is there?" Pointing at Cooper. It's like, how dare you? This is my Cooper. What are you talking about? you guy who just came out of the blue, but it's so unsettling. It's great. But that's all. I really let's dive into.
Do you like his accent? I like his accent. I think it's great. I think I have heard that Bowie was not happy with how
I love
he did
it.
his accent. I think it's great.
Yeah, it's not distracting at all. If I didn't know who David Bowie was, it wouldn't have felt like a put on accent.
We've heard about living above the convenience store from Mike all the way back in Cooper's Dream. In episode 2, we lived above a convenience store. Now, he's been to one of their meetings, like this gathering of these entities that we're going to see that area, and we're going to see all these people that we love soon. And we see like the static, right? And you get that hint of the jumping man.
The jumping man right away. That's the first one we see.
In a red suit. And Lynch described the character to the actor Carlton Russell, who played him as, quote, a talisman come to life. So that was sort of what the advice or whatever prompt that he gave him, which I think is a great way of looking at him. Albert, by the way, while all this is going on, so we're cutting in and out of reality. We're starting to introduce this where Jeffries has been. And Albert's just bump on the old noggin, Phil? It's just such a wonderful Albert line. And to get a little bit of Albert to ground us while this freaking insanity is happening. And Albert is hardly in this film, but he steals every scene that he's in.
When he's in it,
absolutely love them. Lynch says, like, you've been gone for so many years.
He says, for God's sake, Jeffries, where the hell have you been? Gone for damn near 2 years.
Yeah. So he's been gone a while, but for him, maybe he's literally just left, or maybe he's been gone for 100 years. We don't know. 25 years, perhaps.
Or maybe it feels shorter, like whenever Major Briggs got sucked away and he thought it was a couple hours.
He came back and he was dressed like he was in World War I. Remember, he was dressed like
why
a
would we ever explain that?
Let's
never explain that.
So now we're gonna get the place above the convenience store. My God, what a lineup! You get the jumping man. You get that guy in the cap. You've got the Mrs. Tremont and her grandson, my faves. You get the woodsman. I mentioned there was the woodsman before. We saw them in Haps, and now you're seeing one here. So we've definitely got a real connection between this world and the people that we've been seeing. It looks like the same guy. There's actually 2 woodsmen in here. We get Bob, we get the man from another place, and we get bowls, like a weird cream corn bowl and some other strange bowls that are on this table. It's
the
just
green
a
Formica
wild
table.
Scene. Yeah, the Garmonbozia.
Yeah.
So Formica tabletop, Formica made from layers, which is like layers of time. You know, one timeline where Jeffries is, and then one where he isn't. Now, you got to bear with me here. Where I'm going to go.
Here we go.
A lot of this is the layering, right? There's multiple layerings. I'll keep talking about layerings. It's not the first time I'm going to talk about Formica tabletop. But green is its color, right? So if Fire Walk With Me is blue and bluish color, we were talking about blue rose cases, all of the blue stuff we're talking about. And if the TV show is red, the coral lenses this red look. Green is the missing piece. Green is the missing piece of RGB color space, which is used for TV and film productions. So you have like the show and the movie and this Formica tabletop, this meeting place of all of this thing together as this layered entity that is the world of Twin Peaks. Bob Engles had said that when they were doing an original version, or like when they first started, it was supposed to start in 1956. At Eisenhower's inaugural or something, and Bob and Mike lived below the table. So Bob and Mike were going to have lived below the Formica table. So the Formica table has been in early versions of this script as a place that they lived. I'm not sure.
Okay.
We get one of the best lines, the most important lines in a way.
We live inside a dream.
We live inside a dream, which we're going to talk about more as
which is Jeffries. His voice is intercut throughout all of this. We have them. I'm seeing this as though people haven't watched the movie probably a dozen times more than I have, but just the intermixing of the man from another place talking backwards, saying Garmonbozia, this is the Formica table, green is its color, intercut with Jeffries kind of trying to explain where he's best. He says, I sure as hell want to tell you everything, but I haven't got a whole lot to go on. And he's saying how he followed them. And it's just this intercutting. And that's the editing is also the layers, because we have cutting back and forth, but also superimposing on top of each other throughout all of this. And the story is getting sliced into different pieces and put back together as we're seeing it. Love this.
And the fact that he's saying we as opposed to they live inside a dream, because we know they do live inside of a dream, Cooper's dream, just on the surface.
Yep.
That we've gone in a dream and this is where they go. And now we live inside a dream. And we're going to see dreams within dreams within dreams in a bit with Laura. So that whole concept is just so great. So the grandson is going to say, fellow victim, is it a command to Bob to kill again to get more of this Garmonbozia? Is it a comment on the past that he has killed? He killed Teresa Banks at this point.
Another thing that's interesting to me is like fell a victim. The only time I ever hear the word fell used that way is like to fell a tree. And trees are so significant overall in the show. But in the movie specifically, Laura talks about trees at several different moments throughout. So, like, I don't know what to make of that, but, like, felling a victim, felling the tree, I don't know. Do with that what you will. Or nothing.
Woodsy. I'm down with that.
Okay.
All this ring stuff. We have the idea of a gold, remember Mike talking about a golden circle? We also get, like, the layering of the red curtains. And this is when we see the monkey behind the mask. So the grandson sort of opens his mask, and then we're going to see that monkey. So how is this place connected to the Red Room? Is this another way? And we're going to get sort of there, but how is this connected to that Red Room? They're all sort of layered within each other, upon each other, connected to each other. So anyway, Jeffries is now gone. He was never there. And he just slipped into our world and then left just for a moment in time. So I don't know, Dan, when he does disappear, my last thing I'll say before we turn it over to you, we get that shot of the power lines. Again, just like we saw the power lines sort of directing him to the trailer, now we're getting more moving through electricity while Gordon is saying, where is Chester Desmond?
Yep. He was never here.
Yeah, he was never here. And then they go and they check the monitors and Cooper's like, no, he was here. Look. There's another monitor to the right that when he says, like, where is Chester Desmond? It almost looks like Chester Desmond is walking in. There's a guy walking
coming in. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't. It's just interesting.
Yeah.
A little interesting detail. But yeah, there's Formica tabletops. I'm going to talk more about Formica, but.
Well, thank goodness.
Yeah. Garmonbozia. You get it all. Electricity you get. And
you get the electricity
Garmonbozia.
close up in the mouth. I don't know if you said this, but with this ring ID wed, so the ring on the left hand, ring finger, fantastic. Jeffrey saying, listen up and listen carefully. I've been to one of their meetings. Hell, God, baby, damn, no, I found something. I love the way that he runs all of that together. What an underrated actor. He's great. This and Labyrinth, man. All right, let's head out to the Fat Trout. Agent Cooper looks for clues about missing Agent Desmond and goes to Wind River, where Teresa Banks' body was found. Eric, Cooper is on the case.
Man, I love Carl. Cooper and Carl together are quite a duo.
I'm not going to Deputy Cliff's trailer.
Oh, where the hell are you going?
Going over here.
What's over there? God damn, these people are confusing.
That the little joke that they add of Cooper just apologizing for waking him, so we know that he's been woken again. Carl, to this, does mention a bad dream. We live inside a dream. We were just told about how we literally live inside a dream, and here is Carl referencing a bad dream that he had. His line as well about, damn, these people are confusing. Got a big laugh in the movie theater, I remember.
Oh, that's
People
good.
Really,
I like that.
Really enjoyed that joke because it's sort of commenting as well on the madness that we're in. At this point, okay, now so much stuff happening here. The trailer is gone. He mentions the old woman and her grandson. I talked about this when we did episode 9.
Can you tell me whose trailer it was and who stayed in it?
An old woman and her grandson.
Can you tell me what their names were?
Chalfont. As a matter of fact, Chalfont was the name of the people that rented this space before. 2 Chalfonts. Weird, huh?
And the Chalfonts, the Tremonts, as a matter of fact, he says, as a matter of fact, the people here were called Chalfonts. As a matter of fact, the people before them were called Chalfonts. So again, it's layers.
Chalfont.
It's layers of people, like the Formica tabletop. It's Chalfont and Chalfont. And we think about the Tremonts, and when Donna took Cooper to the Tremonts' house, it's someone else's family. I didn't have any kids. My mom's dead. So I just see these people assuming the roles of other people and moving from place to place. But again, it's the layering, Chalfont on Chalfont, Tremont on Tremont, Formica. Cooper seeing the windshield, the dirty windshield that says "Let's Rock," which again, was what the man from another place said to Cooper in his dream, and now that has a bit of a new meaning to that dream. We think about the callback to this murder. One of my favorite shots ever in this film is like seeing Cooper through that dirty windshield with the cursive line of "Let's Rock." When he talks to Diane, he also says it's 420. So if Lynch is on top of 6'7", he's also on top of 420.
Yes.
He goes to Wind River, which is where the body of Teresa Banks is found. Of course, Wind River, wind through the trees. There's magic and mystery to the trees as well as to the wind. This is one of Cole's Blue Rose cases, which we know he tells Diane. And again, another reference to a song. Who knows where the killer's going to strike again? Who knows where or when? It's a Peggy Lee song.
We looked at each other in the same way then, but I can't remember where or when.
So we have more connections to music, to mystery, to murder, to the whole thing.
Just going back again to him and Carl, I'm not going definitely Cliff's trailer. And then Carl's again almost a tear. Well, where the hell are you going? Like it's so like plaintive and sad. It's just like oh God, what a great choice to play the character that way. Harry Dean Stanton, man, just incredible.
He's just at the
love
end of his rope.
That's at all times, just barely holding on. And if his history is the one that you're speculating on, I get it, man. I just want to stay at one place and sleep in, I'm sure. The Let's Rock written there in what looks like lipstick, which is the red lipstick across the windshield, is really nice touch as well. Cooper was sent to Twin Peaks to investigate Laura's murder because there's some connection to Teresa Banks. But I wonder how the seeing Let's Rock here, and then the first thing that he hears from the man from another place is Let's Rock. Like, how does that inform the way that Cooper's putting all these pieces together? So it's just like this way of retroactively giving us more information later in our viewing of it, but earlier in the story. I just think it's cool. Like pepper these things in throughout as we go. Yeah, so this is great. And now we know, again, Cooper knows about Cole's Blue Rose cases as well. So this is one of his cases.
And that concludes the first part of our Fire Walk With Me show. Find us again next week as we discuss the last 7 days of Laura Palmer. Thank you for listening to the Meanwhile podcast with Dan Johnson and Eric Grissom. If you would like to support the Meanwhile podcast, join our Patreon. It's available right now. You can sign up, and for just a few dollars a month, you can keep this show going, and you can get access to some exclusive podcasts and some secret stuff that you're not going to find anywhere else. So if you'd like to join, go to ericgrissom.com/meanwhile and look for the Patreon link. If you like our show, please consider rating and reviewing the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're hearing this now. Meanwhile is produced by Eric Grissom and Where's My Robots? The Meanwhile theme song is written and performed by Paul Finn and Evening Pines. If you want to let us know what you thought of the show, you can reach Dan at danjnj.com, both on the web and on Blue Sky. Eric can be found on Blue Sky at ericgrissom.com, which is also his website. It's also me, right? That's weird. We'll see you again. And in the meantime, be good.
Listen to the sounds.
Meanwhile.
Where's my robots, you know?